Hey everyone, Adam here from Parsnip Computers, and I'm giving a very quick update because you may have noticed recently over TikTok that we did a survey of some questions, and it was all about which CPU and what kind of build would you pair an RTX 5070 Ti with. And initially, the first question we asked is which manufacturer of CPU would you like? Would you like Intel or would you like AMD? And unbelievably, 85% of votes went AMD. So clearly, people still aren't big fans of Intel. I know they've had a nightmare with their previous gens. They have got the Ultra CPUs, and they're pretty badass, to be honest. But clearly, AMD is the most popular choice for everybody. Personally, I actually love AMD CPUs. I've got an AMD CPU in my everyday rig, and we build more AMD-based systems than Intel anyway. Although I do think Intel have got some fantastic offerings out there. So it was an AMD that we went for. So then what we had to do was put some suggestions out there on what CPU you would actually like from AMD to go with your RTX 5070 Ti. Now, it's worth noting that in our opinion, and this is just our opinion, it's not fact, it's just opinion, that the 5070 Ti is probably the best, or certainly in the top two, 1440p graphics cards. Yes, it will of course play at 4K. It has 16 gig of VRAM. It's more than capable at 4K. But I personally believe that the 1440p, this thing's an absolute monster. There are other cards out there, of course. The 9070 XT from AMD, and even the 9060 XT 16 gig from AMD is a fantastic option. But the RTX 5070 Ti is what we were speaking about. So we put out there two offers: the 9800X 3D CPU or the 7800X 3D CPU, and no one could decide. It literally is still going on now, and it's like 50-50. And what's really funny is actually quite a few people in the comments even said lesser CPUs like the 9600, the 7700, the 7600X, because ultimately at 1440p your GPU is doing a hell of a lot of the work, and the CPU isn't really getting as worked hard as it would be maybe at 1080p. So we listened, but the main thing was the third question. So we put it all together and we asked you, what kind of build would you want it to be in? Do you want it to be on one that's on the video in the background right now? RGB streamer cables, RGB case fans, you know, all the flash, all that kind of white dual chamber case? Or do you want a nice, clean, black build? Unbelievably, 75% people, I can't even talk, 75% of people currently want it in a clean black build. And maybe that's it. Maybe the meta, the kind of last 4 years of dual chamber cases, is coming to an end. Or people that are just obsessed with performance, don't actually care about the look, and they just want decent airflow. Either way, we've listened, and this is what we've done. On our main webpage, if you go to Browse Gaming PCs, as you've always been able to do, and we of course divide it into 4 main categories, you'll now see this banner here which says clean and black. Now please bear in mind, this is a work in progress. There isn't many. If you click on clean and black, it comes up with our gaming PCs, but our clean and black ranges, which are all about being clean builds, black, maybe some silver accents, but no RGB or minimal RGB, and all about airflow and performance. And if you go to extreme, you will see a build that matches exactly what we believe people want. You may say, nope, you got it all wrong, Pink passed it, that is not the build that we want. So for example, this clean and black extreme build, it is a Corsair case. It's going to have 240mm fans on the front, 140mm fan on the rear, and 240mm fans on an Arctic AIO, which will keep that 7800X 3D chilly, absolutely chilly. You've got USB-C at the front, USB-C on the back. It's rocking an Asus TUF motherboard, which has got Gen 5 PCIe. Of course, you've got Gen 5 PCIe on the 5070 Ti. Then you've also got built-in Wi-Fi, built-in Bluetooth, Gen 4 storage, and a gold modular power supply. So you now don't have to browse through all of our builds if you just want to go for something that's just clean and black, which makes it nice and easy. You can, of course, click this button and go straight back to all of our builds, which shows off all the bright coloured RGB ones, but we've made it really easy. The clean and black ones have got a grey and black background. This one I love. This case has just come out, and it does have some RGB. You can always turn that RGB off, but look at this case. Solid wood base, Dual chamber still. I still love dual chamber cases, and I think a lot of people out there. This is rocking the 9060 XT and a 7600. It's a really strong performing AM5 build, and I personally think that's lovely. But there's been some other changes as well. You'll see here, we plant a tree for every single order that you place. It doesn't even need to be a gaming PC. It could literally be a component. It could be a cooler. It could be a case. It could be whatever. We plant a tree. And we planted loads in the last 2 weeks. And when you buy something, you also have the option to spend, I think it's an extra £1, and you can plant an extra tree. And if you go into our environmental impact, you can watch a video on what we're actually doing. It's not me planting the trees. It's bad enough me doing gardening in my own house. I don't particularly like gardening, but this is important. We use as much recycled packaging and stuff as we can. We obviously recycle as much stuff as we can that we don't use. But I think it makes a difference that we're planting trees for our orders, because ultimately, let's be honest, the process of making processors and components isn't exactly good for the environment. So if we can put something back, we absolutely will. We're paying for this. You're not paying for it. It comes out of our pocket, but I think it's for a fantastic cause. And while I've got you, we've also got some other cool stuff going on. So I'm actually recording this, obviously on my desktop PC, but I used this, our new Stream Dock that we've started stocking. And I know it looks incredibly similar to the market leader out there, but I've got one on my desk. I used it to start this recording of OBS Studio. I will use it to stop recording of OBS Studio. I've had it for about 4 days. It's absolutely amazing. You can customize all of these buttons. They're colored, they can be animated. You can even set up different scenes. You can have different sets of 15 buttons. You can have your time, the date, all there. And we're selling these for £59.99. So it's considerably cheaper than obviously the main market leader out there. I'm not saying it's as good, but it's like 30% of the price. And I've been really impressed with it so far. So yeah, we've got loads of stuff going on. We've been adding even more products. If you go into our shop, if you go into, where do I want to go? If I go into peripherals and more, you can see we're now selling some gaming chairs. I've got about 13 more models to add on here, because the only ones we've got added at the moment are proper top tier ones, like 250 quid plus. They're amazing. I think I might buy one when I can afford to. But we've got some cheaper ones coming out, and some neck cushions and all that kind of fun stuff as well. And we're even now, in terms of our streaming products, we go in some other really quirky things as well. So if you go into our, where am I going to go? If I go to peripherals and more, if I go into accessories, streamings and controllers, we're doing power banks, we're doing control pads, we're doing RGB lightings that fit behind your monitor. We're selling NanoLeaf products, which are amazing if you haven't actually seen them. They're seriously sexy bits of kit. But yeah, loads of stuff going on. And I've also noticed this morning, which I've never seen before, this little pop-up from Google, store quality by Google, and we score green and exceptional or great on everything. So we're looking good. But yeah, what do you think, guys? Do you like the clean and black idea? Do you not like it? What do you think? Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe, because we go live more with builds and review of products, and I'd love to hear from you and our community. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to press my stop button on my Stream Dock now.